Thank you so much for tuning in to the And Asset channel. And on this episode, we have two amazing individuals, two people that I call essentially family. They work internally within the BetterWealth ecosystem. They represent the And Asset brand to that up and high most. My friends, Mike and Katie, thank you for being on the show today. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
This is great.
No, it's fun. You guys came all the way out from Phoenix. Share a little bit why you guys are out here essentially for the weekend for the most part.
Yeah, so there's a conference here where we're all getting together. Like Dom alluded to, it's one big family, and we're just going to kind of break bread with amazing people in the industry, learn how to serve our clients better.
Yeah, it's a unique industry of kind of setting up the And Asset for people.
So anybody that's watching this, that's an agent, that has aspirations to be a future advisor, just know for the next 3 days, you've probably already watched this and it already has happened, but we are doing an And Asset mastermind. We're getting some of the most profound speakers in the entire industry coming together into one room and talking about life insurance. Sounds geeky, sounds pretty nerdy as a whole, but it's going to be one of the most amazing, I think iconic life insurance event of all time, or it could be a big ego fest as well. I will share and tune in with you with how it actually went, but calculate this and put a note in your head for next year, because this is going to be an annual thing and it's going to be an amazing time going forward every year, hopefully indefinitely. But with that being said, super glad that we're getting to actually meet. This is the first time we've met in person. Right. We've had lots of calls over Zoom, getting to know the both of you, getting to talk about life insurance and the And Asset. But I want to backtrack a little bit and pick your guys' brain a little bit about your guys' story, how you guys got into the industry, and just get to a little bit know more about you guys. So first and foremost, how long have you guys been together for?
We've been together for 11 years and married for 6 years.
Amazing. And then how long have you guys been in the industry for?
It'll be 2 years this month.
Amazing. And go ahead.
Yeah, 2 years this month of providing this for clients, but we've been consumers of it for 5 years. And so that's how we started, is kind of hearing about this and using it personally. And we found it to be such an amazing foundational asset that we wanted to share it with other people. And that's kind of what got us into being in the industry.
Love that. So 5 years ago, how did you guys hear about it?
A friend of ours turned me on to the idea, and I listened to him for about 10 minutes, and I actually thought it was the biggest scam in the financial industry. And I just wished him good luck on it, and we went our separate ways. And it wasn't until about 3 months later, thankfully, my friend Chad brought it up again. He's like, you ought to really consider looking into this again. Had you told me then that just 2 or 3 years later, we would be like the biggest ambassador for whole life and just the mindset of the And Asset, I would have said you're crazy, but it's something that we're super passionate about.
I love it. If you can you go back and remember the conversation that you had when you heard it for the first 10 minutes of what made you feel like it was a scam? Can you I don't know if you can recall that, but do you have kind of the recollection of it?
It was the way he described the policy loan function, and how you're borrowing against the policy from the life insurance company. Mm-hmm. It was just too convoluted for me to understand at that time.
Okay.
Well, and I think, too, at that point, we weren't clear how life insurance and finance could be mixed. And so I remember him coming home, we went on a walk, and he said, oh, it's not going to work out. It was something life insurance.
Yeah.
And then that just kind of stopped it.
Yeah, and so our friend could have easily not have brought that up again. And it's been life-changing for us ever since that day. We hopped in. We spent a lot of time educating ourselves on it and how we could marry it with our real estate business. And it's only allowed us to grow.
I love it. So 3 months later, what was some of the education that you guys kind of dove into to help you guys understand the concept a little bit better?
Just understanding that having full control and use of our capital is what gets us to accomplish our goals in the end. And a lot of times, and now as advisors, we get to see this on a regular basis with people who just start coming to us. Folks have a lot of financial inefficiencies. And our job is to go and minimize those or completely rid them of their lives. And whole life fits in very nicely because you have full control and use of your capital inside the policy.
I think this is a valuable point because, like you said in the industry, like you said it right, Katie, most people in the industry do not think that insurance goes well in the overall financial plan. Right. All you do is think about like stocks, bonds, mutual funds, and the accumulation phase. You don't ever think about the control, the liquidity, what you can do with your dollars, having it do two things at once, the protection, having a permanent death benefit for the rest of your life. And a lot of that has to do with like, Dave Ramsey, Susie Orman, people like that sharing that whole life insurance, permanent insurance really is in a great place in the financial planning space. And to be honest, I completely agree with them in a lot of instances that it really is in a great place to store capital in a couple of instances. One, if it's not designed properly, right. If it's with the wrong company, and if it's designed improperly, well, then I agree. It's a terrible place. And that's the issue with the industry is 95% of agents are designing it that way because of commissions. Commissions are a huge piece of that. And I've had agents come to me and bluntly say, we design our policies XYZ because of the commissions. Like, we don't get paid very much, so we would never design it the way that you guys design it. And I get that. I empathize with it because they're running a business and they need to survive. But at the same time, this is why we love you guys, and you guys fit the culture as well, is that you always want to do what's best for the clients at the end of the day, right? And you want to serve and have the integrity. I think it'll pay, 100 folds later on in life is when you're serving the client really well, they're going to refer people. You're going to have essentially good mojo coming back to you, and your business will grow over time because you have a reputation of serving people right at the same time.
We're finding that when we have our client's interest as top priority, the rapport is built very, very quickly, and they can't help but go tell all their friends and family about what they're doing now to build the most solid foundation I think you can for your family.
No, I love it. So 2 years you have been in the industry. What made you transition from being a practitioner to essentially being an advisor within that window? Like the second 2 years ago, you're like, all right, well, let's go ahead and just start, providing this service to people as well. What was the aha moment of like, you know what, we should do this instead?
You want to take this?
Yeah, I think a big thing is just we realize that the industry is so small. And like you just said, Dom, there are so many people who are just not designing these the way that they can be optimized for use with other investments. And so us realizing that the industry was just so small of people who could properly design it and have the client's interest at heart. And so we thought this is an opportunity for us to really get in. And we kind of got in wanting to really just focus on changing the lives of the people in our immediate network because our lives were so changed by finding this strategy. And then, kind of once we introduced this to people in our network, and then it just continued to expand. And so we're so happy that we did kind of make the shift into becoming experts.
I think she brought up a really good point. It's not the whole life policy that changes your life, right? It does from a legacy perspective because you have that sizable death benefit that's baked in and guaranteed for the rest of your life. But it's when you put it on top of your current financial strategy, that's what really allows the whole engine to accelerate. And that's, I think, getting into this as consumers first, that's what got our friends and family coming to us going, what are you doing? We both quit our careers at different times throughout this entire journey. And so the eyes shifted towards us, and getting into the industry allowed us to serve our friends and family.
Love that. Well, and what were you guys doing before this?
I was a firefighter.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. That's amazing.
Yep. So I was a firefighter for the state of California for 15 years, and then you were in a couple things.
Corporate America. I worked at two really amazing, great companies. I loved my jobs, but we just realized that what we were doing just wasn't aligned with how we wanted to live life. We started a family, and just this idea of having to ask for vacation and kind of be set to this schedule that you don't design, it just wasn't the way that we wanted to live. And so that's really what led us down the path of looking at other outlets of how we could build wealth and how we could get our time back and just kind of live life on our terms.
I love it. So now you guys are obviously practitioners, but obviously as well being advisors in the space as well. But you said something in the beginning that you use this with real estate. I'd love to hear you elaborate a little bit on how you use this essentially tool to help you expand your real estate portfolio.
Yeah, sure. So what we've done for the last 4 or 5 years at this point is we've built relationships in several markets that we invest in, and we do several different things. We buy and hold, we buy and flip, We invest in syndications as well. So for the last 4 or 5 years, we've been investing in real estate across the country. And how we specifically use whole life with real estate is there's a lot of time as an investor where your money is not deployed. You're either saving up for your next opportunity, or you have your emergency fund. Where does that money sit? And for most of America, it sits in a checking and savings account. And if we can transition that message with our clients to store it somewhere more stable with a great rate of return, then it grows tax-free, but it's also there for them to deploy it into their next opportunity. And so we found that just the cash sitting outside of our bank, inside of a policy, provides the peace of mind with the death benefit. But it also is just there for us, growing, and it's ready for us for when we want to make our next investment.
No, I love it.
And that is why we call it an and asset. I mean, we could invest in real estate, purely invest in real estate. But when you combine investing in real estate with using this and asset, it just optimizes both of them. I mean, we think of like 4 key things, like Mike said, a real estate investor needs is they need an opportunity fund. They need to be liquid so they can make purchases. They need a reserve account. Roofs go out. You need repairs, so you have to have this liquid reserve account for real estate. You need easy financing and easy loan terms. And those are 4 things that the and asset allows a real estate investor. And so it's just this beautiful combination of optimizing what you're already doing.
I love it. So I'd love to dive a little bit deeper into like the nitty gritty of the way you guys use the policy from a standpoint of after you've taken a policy loan. So for people that don't know, when it comes to life insurance, you don't withdraw money from a policy. You don't borrow from your policy. You borrow against the policy. So you essentially take a loan against the policy, which means the insurance company is going to give you a loan based off the collateral that you have from a cash value standpoint. So the insurance company gives you a loan. Then you have the ability to deploy that capital. And as Mike and Katie are saying, deploy the capital into real estate for opportunities, for the actual down payment on the home, for leaks, so on and so forth. And so after you guys have done that whole process with the real estate, you borrowed against it to be able to use for the down payment. You now have the property. You now have this asset. The asset may be cash flowing. I don't know if you guys invest in cash flow properties or not. But when you have this outstanding loan, how do you manage that? What do you do with it at that point? Because a lot of people will talk about taking loans against your policy to buy cars or to go on vacation, or people talk about it as assets too. Like we believe in the end asset, like borrowing against your policy, you invest in assets like real estate. It really should be one of the most powerful ways to use it. But once you have a outstanding loan and you've used your dollars, the ability to use that capital, what is kind of like the next steps involved within the process?
Sure. So when money comes from one of our assets, and if it were to go to a checking account and stay there, the velocity of that dollar stops. And so the wealth creation is disabled to an extent, right? And so what we do is we just shift, or we transfer all of the cash flow from our checking account that comes in back into the whole life policy to either pay the annual premium or to pay off the policy loan. We have clients who, as they're understanding the product, they're still confused on the policy loan part. And I just tell them, thank goodness that it's a policy loan from the insurance company and we're not taking the actual cash value from the policy, because we don't ever interrupt the compounding. And that is what allows us to continue that velocity. So whenever the cash flow comes in, be it from just rents or from proceeds from a flip, we just put it right back into the policy if there isn't another opportunity in the marketplace.
I absolutely love that. And I always try to explain to clients the best way to understand a whole life insurance policy loan is it works really like a line of credit or like a HELOC, right? And real estate investors, I think they can relate really well to how HELOCs work, because majority of the time when they're in the investor space, when it comes to real estate, the first loan they learn about is a HELOC, because they're doing the BRRRR strategy, or they're refinancing, or they have this HELOC where they can go buy more properties, and they understand how that works. But then when it comes to life insurance, they like get super confused. And if I can tell them like, hey, like from a high 30-foot overview, it's the same way. You have a line of credit. You can use that funds in that line of credit. And when you use that line of credit, the ability to borrow goes down. But when you then pay back into that line of credit, the same amount of money that you borrowed originally, you can then use again. And just as a revolving line where you can continuously use that funds. The main difference is it's more stable.
That's right.
it can compound over time. So, you have the ability for it to continuously always grow. In your HELOC, you do have that as well if your asset appreciates, but you don't have to worry about that asset ever going down or the bank taking it away because it's with the life insurance, so on and so forth. And you don't have to worry about the instability if it's attached to like the market, because you can do the same thing with like a brokerage account, or you can borrow against your brokerage account and they can give you a line of credit, so on and so forth. But one, they only give you like 50%.
That's right.
And at the same time, well, what happens if I have a 50% loan out and then the market goes down? Well, then it's a very unstable market and you get margin called, they can take that asset, so on and so forth. So there's just more risk involved. There's a lot less risk involved, or if any, when it comes to using the and asset because of the way that it's structured, how it has the guarantees built in. You're never required to pay that policy loan back, right? Because the death benefit is there as collateral. If you die and pass away, that'll be paid off. So it's just like any other loan. And when you look at it from the way it's operates, but the foundational collateral is what's the different piece to it.
And I would say the big difference piece is just it's on your terms. When you're taking a loan from any other type of institute, you're on their terms. Whereas when you're using your whole life policy, you decide when you want to pay it back. We've paid our loans back within a month of taking them. We've paid our loans back after a year of having them out. And it's
the flexibility is amazing.
Flexibility is amazing.
I think when people realize the contractual obligations on the part of the life insurance company, at first they don't believe it, right? Yeah. But the flexibility within these companies and tools is immense. And when people see that, they're sold. They're all about it.
We get a lot of what's the catch? Yeah. And that's the beauty. There isn't a catch. It's just a really great tool. I would say the catch is just knowing how to use it. Any tool can be good, or if you don't know how to use it, it can be worthless. A hammer could be worthless if you don't know how to use it. But if you know how to use it, it can do so many things for you.
Katie, I'd like you to elaborate on that from let's just pretend that this tool could be detrimental to somebody. How could this tool harm somebody?
Yeah, for sure. If people are using the tool purely for liabilities over and over again without a payback plan, that can really just eat away at the whole policy, and you might even have to surrender it eventually. So if you see your cash value account and all you do is take loans and don't have a strategy to pay it back, that could be really detrimental.
And when you say surrender, what are you referring to?
Like surrendering the policy.
Yeah, what does that mean?
Oh, it means basically the policy closes down and you just take whatever cash value is available, minus any loans. And so you don't have the tool to use anymore.
Love it. So the main risk, it sounds like you're saying in an and asset or overfund whole life insurance or a permanent product in general, if it's designed properly, is that if it's used improperly, then that's where the risks come involved. It has nothing to do with the tool in itself. It has everything to do with the person that utilizes that tool. Just like you said, if you have a hammer, the hammers can be inherently good to build a house, but also a hammer could be really bad because it can destroy a lot of things within the house. And so if we can use this tool effectively to build wealth, to build a house, then it can essentially enhance our overall life versus do the complete opposite.
Yeah. Totally.
Oh, love it. All right. So you guys have been in the industry now for 5 years. You guys have a strong real estate portfolio. Kind of what's next for you guys? You guys doubling down more so on the life insurance business? You guys doubling down on the real estate business? You doing a combination of both? I know the market's kind of crazy right now, so I don't know if there's a ton of opportunities in real estate, which makes the and asset a great place to keep storing money. So kind of where are you guys at right now with your guys' day-to-day and kind of futuristic approach to your guys' businesses?
Yeah, the message is being received well right now. We're really enjoying the business. It's growing after being in on this side of it for 2 years now. We want to actually step away from the real estate, like the active real estate a little bit. Currently, we're going to take a pause and just see where this market goes. It's a little wild out there right now.
Yeah.
And then we'll see where we're at.
Yeah. We're so focused on just wanting to get this message out. Our lives have been transformed by the realization of using this tool and continuing to invest in real estate. We've both been able to leave corporate jobs, and we feel like we're living a perfect life right now. And our main goal is to just share that with other people in hopes that they can get closer to living to living their best life too. And we feel like the strategy is simple. I mean, it takes a lot of hard work, but you know, there's nothing crazy about us. We're kind of two normal folks, we think, who were able to discover this. And so that's what we want to do, is just kind of build Axiom and get this message out and get people closer to having options and freedom and choice to live their lives.
Can I elaborate on that?
Of course.
So
Please.
there's a lot of power in becoming specific. First, creating a specific goal, right? Like we're very intentional with creating our annual and then our quarterly goals. Everyone wants to diversify. And in the beginning, we were diversified too. I had my pension with the fire service. You had your 401k. When we really focused on actually accomplishing our goal, we got away from diversifying with the things that weren't helping us actually achieve those goals. And in just 4 or 5 years with our investments, we've allowed to position ourselves into a great life. And again, this isn't about a product or a life insurance policy. It's about you investing in yourself, your number one greatest asset. You've heard Caleb talk about that. You've heard Dom talk about that. But with that policy, on the same level comes investing in yourself, and so you can take down your goals and actually accomplish what your life's mission is. And that's what got us to this place.
I love it. And that's why I love listening to you guys. You guys have such a powerful message. You guys really want to help. You guys have a heart to serve. And I think the people that have the heart to serve are going to win the most. And that's why I'm your guys' biggest fans. Like, I know you guys are going to keep crushing it. You guys are already doing so, which is why I'm glad that we're, partnered at this point to build something amazing. I would love for you guys to share a message with people. I mean, you guys have only been in the industry for 2 years, which is kind of crazy that you guys have had the success that you've had in such a short amount of time. There's a lot of people that are listening, a lot of brand new agents or people that have been in it for less than 3 years that potentially are struggling or that need some type of encouragement or some inspiration, or they just want to know, how do they build a practice or a business to essentially get to be able to do this full time? Because a lot of people are either doing it part time, or the first year it's the hardest. The retention in the industry is very low. A lot of it is due to lack of resources, lack of mentorship, or it's just hard in general. What would you give advice to somebody that is brand new or wanting to just start off on, ways to make it past the first couple of years so that they could do this full time and have the lifestyle that you guys are living currently?
Yeah, I can start.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd say my biggest piece of feedback would be to make sure that you're modeling it yourself, because if you're sharing something that you are already doing personally and something that has changed your life, it's just so much easier to share that with other people. So if there are advisors in the business who don't have their own whole life policies and aren't using them to invest in other investments and assets as well, I would say really focus on that and see how this can change your life, and also implement the mindset component to it as well. Mike mentioned goal setting. Get really clear on your goals, get really clear how you want to use this tool, make sure that your own financial strategy is aligned with your goals. And I think once you see your own transformation, other people will see it as well. And then I'd say my second piece of advice would just be to, if you have something steady and stable like a job right now, start this on the side. I mean, you don't have to quit everything day one and risk it. You can kind of take baby steps. We did that. We were investing in real estate with both full-time jobs. We started our the life insurance business Axiom with still full-time jobs. And once we knew, yes, this is, our lives are changed, we're financially able to step away and focus on this. Yeah, we were able to do it. So that would be my two pieces. What about you?
I would say full commitment. Even if you have that W-2 job or if you're running another business, if this is part-time in any capacity or full-time, it's full commitment. And like Katie said, specialize in it, but also specialize in what you think what your ideal client is going to be specialized in. For us, a lot of our clients have a real estate background because we leveraged that network. And so build a network if you don't have it, and then meet people that you haven't met yet. I mean, we're constantly going to meetups, not to sell more life insurance, but we're constantly going to meetups because we want to surround ourselves with like-minded people.
Love it. All right. Last question. I know, here it is. Big thing. What legacy do you both want to leave on this earth?
So I'll start.
Amazing. Let's see what we got.
Yeah. So for me, we currently have 2 young kiddos. We'd like 1 or 2 more. So obviously,
I thought you were gonna say we like one of them. We like one.
Some of the
time. So obviously, that in itself will be our legacy, just our kids. And for us, we really want to make sure that we are ensuring that we're raising our kids with the mindset that we adopted really as adults. And we want our kids to grow up with that mindset of, think outside the box. This financial strategy of whole life and real estate and goal setting, it's not what a typical financial advisor, the typical path of finances that people are on. So we want our kids to understand that there are other ways to do things, and that kind of taking control of your money and taking control of your future rather than having someone else lead it like a financial advisor, or hoping that it all works out with everything in the stock market. We just want to adopt the right mindset for them. And then bigger than that, outside of our own kids, we really want the financial education system to be different. We want to be able to share and teach these concepts to kids and just to everyone, so that people know that there are options for how to manage your money, how to build wealth, how to control your money, to really live the life that you desire. We get one life, and so let's make sure we're making the best of it. And so I think one of our legacies is just ensuring financial education is
abundant. Available, yeah.
Ensuring, no pun intended, right?
Right.
Yeah,
Ensuring, I and E.
There's a lot of folks out there who don't want to give their kids the upper hand. They don't want to help them too much. I get it. I see that. I think the way you fix that is with mindset. I don't want my kids or our kids to start over. I want them to take off where we leave off. And it's not about the dollars and cents.
That's good.
It's about the mindset. That's everything. And they wouldn't get any of the dollars without the mindset, right? There's checks and balances there. But we want our legacy to be them taking off where we're stopping. And again, just to reiterate what Katie said, like, financial education is just, we're in a bad spot as a country. We didn't learn this stuff until our late 20s, early 30s. And so if we could compress that time and move this message to a large volume of people, the world's a better place.
Love it. I absolutely loved it. Mike, Katie, thank you so much for sharing all that.
Thanks,
your guys' story is super powerful. Absolutely loved it. And you guys are going to see more of these too. Hopefully we can get you guys more on the channel, and we can talk more about life insurance in general and the impact that you guys can have in people's lives. And
Awesome.
It's going to be a great journey. And like I said, I'm super excited to be part of your guys' lives, and it's going to be an amazing journey. Any last words you guys like to say before we head off?
No, thanks for having us. This was great. I think that's it.
Yeah, you, Caleb, the whole team. I mean, we love being partners with you guys, and we're looking forward to what's next.
Amazing. Thank you.
Hey, I want to thank you so much for watching this video to the end. This video is on life insurance, and if you have more questions about life insurance, infinite banking, why you should overfund it, we have a link below that goes to our And Asset Vault. This is a free vault that gives you everything you need to know about life insurance. We have case studies, we have a calculator on there, we have a handbook, we have frequently asked questions, we go through a process. I have my masterclass on there. We literally want to be the one-stop shop for every life insurance decision. And so if you want to learn more, click the link below, and we look forward to educating and maybe opening your mind and eyes to the power of life insurance.